Global Research was probably one of the earliest companies to pilot their software in America and Canada.
Ayton Global Research can conduct studies in the USA and Canada. We have a very large volunteer base, which means that we can recruit volunteers very quickly, in some cases in less than a week.
Ayton Global Research are a consumer research company, and we're based in the UK, but we do work on a global scale with over 500,000 volunteers.
Ayton Global Research Limited owns its own software that allows us to develop around the GDPR and other international standards to ensure our clients' specifications are met. As Data Protection Officer, it's my duty to ensure we comply with the General Data Protection Regulation and other international standards to ensure your data is safe and protected globally.
We discovered in piloting that the volunteers behaved very eagerly. We could match the same lead times that we operated in the UK, and we could also undercut some of our competitors. We provided a brilliant service in these two territories, and where there's a huge diversity of ethnicities, our software is also geared up to be able to represent those different ethnicities when we run studies in those regions. Ayton Systems software contains probably one of the most advanced systems for capturing adverse reactions. It's been developed with probably over 100 different customers, and in particular with their dermatologists. It's also really important that we protect our volunteers under the Cosmetovigilance Act. And so if there's a need for a volunteer to find out a little bit more about a preparation, should they have an adverse reaction, we have systems in place to connect with the right people amongst our customer base to ensure that our volunteers are protected.
Research the legislative landscape for the territories in which the product is to be sold, including whether it is a medicine or a cosmetic, and the types of evidence that are required. If you do not need scientific data to substantiate your claims, for example, if it is a cosmetic product, you can run a consumer research study, which is much more cost effective.
When making advertisements for TV shopping channels such as QVC, every claim that's made during the broadcast has to be substantiated with independent evidence. So it's not just the claims that are appearing on the screen on the television, it's not just the claims that are appearing on the packaging for the cosmetics and toiletries that are being sold, it's every piece of script. It all needs to be substantiated with claims that arise from research with an independent research company.
The organisations involved in advertising standards in the USA and Canada are the FDA, the FTC and Ad Standards. The FDA and FTC covered the USA and Canada, and Ad Standards are specific to Canada.
We have full product liability insurance, and it's so important all over the world, but no more so than perhaps in America and also in Canada. And we carry full product liability insurance for those territories.
So quality control, we have an ISO 9001:2015. This looks at customer focus, it looks at leadership and management, the engagement of our employees. It also looks at something called the process approach, which basically means that we have to think about before we make any decision within the company and the people that it can affect, such as our clients. The ISO also looks at the relationship between other ISOs, such as the ISO 27001 regarding GDPR and other ISOs that relate to our company.
The marketing benefits of conducting a consumer research study is you can get some fantastic claims about your product that you wouldn't necessarily achieve just by looking at the raw ingredients or the scientific evidence. For example, I would buy this product. If you have 90% of volunteers agree with that claim, you're going to sell more products.